Hello, 10th standard children. Today I'm going to study English in that first poem to a pair of Santa's cranes written by Manmohan Singh. About the author. Manmohan Singh, an officer of the Indian Administrative Service, is a contemporary poet. His poems have been published in a number of magazines. This poem is chosen from his book Village Poems. So now we'll study about the summary. To a Pair of Sarah Cranes is a touching poem written by Manmohan Singh. The poem deals with the grief of the female bird, which dies spinning away from its mate, which has been shot dead by the cruel hunters. The male was shot as he necked to pull the relicted sun out from the rim of the horizon. So, in the first stanza, we'll come to know that the poet conveys the heartlessness of the hunters and the grief of the female bird through powerful imagery. In the first place, the bird was shot when its beak was impressed in water in a playful attempt to pull out the sun that seems to relicate the rise here. So, in the first stanza, we'll come to know the cranny wanted to drink water and the hunter shooted him for the male cranny. In a second stanza, it flew crying as he was picked up and hands and jaws and pound neck was humbled to lie like a dirty linen in a coarse washing bag. So in a second stanza, the author wants to tell that the beauty of the scene did not stop the hunters from killing its brings out their cruelty. To make matters worse, they do not treat the bird with a dignity after it has been shot down. So, the simile used to show that the way the bird was picked up by its hand and jaws as dumbled like a dirty linen in a coarse wash bag further reflects the coldness of the hunter's air. So, when the male cranny was being killed children by the hunters, to show the dignity of the cruel hunters, they take the bird in a dirty linen bag. This shows their cruelty of who's of the hunter's children. In a third stanza, she circled the sky in the moment of grace over his disgraceful end. The killers went away and she returned to the death scene with grief that inscribed its intensely in the dots and pits, like the Morse code of the bird's sorrow transmitted to the air here. In the third stanza, children, the sentence cranny, which made for life, made it so much harder for the female bird to accept the loss of her partner. We see her returning to the scene after the hunters had left, circling the sky over the scene of the death and winning the painful with the sound dismantling the sound of the Morse code. So the cranny female started searching and she goes on putting the circle here and she goes to the scene and she started talking the Morse code. Morse code means children, it is the language of the bird children. And she goes to that spot here. Who? The female. In a fourth stanza, with her beak she kissed a few feathers, picked the ones that wind had not taken away, and sat to hatch the blood-stained feathers into the toadling chink. When she finally spotted a feather or two, one or two feathers have been fallen. She is seen kissing them, sitting over them as if to hatch them and bring her partner back to the life. When this could not happen, what she'll do, the female cranny. When those does not has to become a click, we see her pining away and die. So the female bird goes and sees that a feathers have been fallen on near the sea, and she takes and kisses, and that time also it did not get up. Who? Male cranny. After that, it goes and hatches the feathers here, and it could not get up here. And in the last stanza, a wave of the seas she had never seen came to her from far away and carried her to him. She went away beyond the human's word, beyond the legends and the fables of the human law. In a last stanza, the poet want to tell her, a wave which was least expected came in and transported her away to another land beyond her human reach. It means that the female crane also has been taken by the way of the sea without her knowledge. Here the way stands for the death of who's of the female crane itself